The Wii is my favorite console ever. I grew up playing all of the Wii classics: Mario Kart, Wii Sports, Super Mario Bros., Mario Galaxy, Wii Fit, Mario Party 8, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Playground, Wipeout 3. Shovelware on the Wii ran kind of rampant. If your local GameStop has a Wii section still, which is getting rarer every year, half of them are probably going to be junk games. I've got a handful of random games I've picked up over the years. Ever played Jelly Bean Ballistic Beans? Yeah, me neither. That made it so interesting as a kid, though. I could end up getting Twilight Princess, a beautifully made Zelda game, for Christmas, or I could end up with Deal or No Deal. I never got Twilight Princess, ever. My mom was actually adamantly against Zelda games for a while. Twilight Princess was T-rated and released when I was 3, so I guess I get the hesitance. And then it was remastered on the Wii U. The Wii U ruined my life. Not really, but when it came out, my parents recently divorced and we were broke, yada yada, whatever, who cares. It was near the end of 2012 and commercials started popping up about a brand new Nintendo console. I didn't know they could do that. I thought it was the Wii forever. But here we are, the Wii U. Yeah, my mom said no. I was already getting a 3DS for Christmas, not that I knew that, and I was pretty lucky to get that considering everything going on at the time. The 3DS was a staple in my life and introduced me to a ton of series such as Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Smash Bros., and finally, The Legend of Zelda. My first ever Zelda game was A Link Between Worlds and I was hooked. I had a DSi before my 3DS and as much as I loved it, I was very little when I got it, meaning a lot of games were kiddie. But I can't help but wonder what my life would be like if she had gotten me the Wii U over the 3DS. I still want the console, or I guess I did, until online services shut down. It had a virtual console with a bunch of old games that I didn't get to play as a kid. I don't know if my mom would have ever bought me these. She didn't really like older games, but I would have bought them for myself when I got older. I like experiencing older games. I've always wanted to play the original Mario stuff to see the roots of these games that I love. I had Mario 64 DS, but it's not the same game. Still a great game, but not the same game. The game I specifically wanted the Wii for when it released was Nintendo Land. I watched these guys named We Like to Play go through the games together and was obsessed with the Luigi's Mansion inspired game for weeks. It came with a lot of Wii U Deluxe sets and I still didn't know a single kid who owned it. I really wanted to play Mario Party 10 too. I know I insulted it several times one video ago. As a kid, it looked pretty fun though. I think part of it was watching other people play it. 4 close friends are going to have a lot more fun than an 11-year-old by himself. It's going to be the most unplayable Mario Party by itself. I would have gotten bored after an hour, and I'm sure the same can be said with Nintendo Land. There are solo games, but not enough to keep a child entertained for hours on end by himself. I had friends, but we didn't just play video games, we went outside and played and stuff. And if my friends were going to play a game, it wasn't going to be Nintendo Land, it was going to be Mario Kart. They'd barely play anything else with me. A game I really, really wish I had gotten to play was Super Mario 3D World. Another thing I mentioned last video was Mario Bros. Was a big staple in my house. I can't imagine how chaotic it would have gotten if the game had competitive features. It's also an amazing game solo for people who don't want the chaos of cooperative play. This game is creative and beautiful, and no level is exactly the same. The Katsu power-up is adorable, and so are all the other power-ups that transform your character. What's good about the cat, though, is it adds a climbing feature that makes it so fun and adds a new mechanic. I love it! My favorite Bowser world is in this game. The carnival theme is gorgeous, the bright lights, the big glowing Bowser, the rides, I love how it looks. I bought it as soon as it came to Switch, and it's one of the few games I've 100%ed. I'm so happy they released it because Nintendo has a long, long history of not re-releasing their games. This makes it impossible to play a ton of games if you didn't own that console and didn't buy that game within a few years of release. The Switch has somewhat solved this issue temporarily due to it being such a long-running console. On previous consoles, a Pokemon game would be available for a few years and then they'd stop selling it. Pokemon Black and White was released in 2010 and retailed for $35? Are you serious? This is unironically the first time I learned this. The Pokemon games now are $60. Yeah, whatever, inflation economy, but 60 versus 35? Well, you won't be paying 35 now anyways because a new copy is pretty pricey. You might be able to find a good deal without the case, but you're either going to have to pay over the original price or hope that one day Nintendo releases it again. Pokemon Sword and Shield released in 2019 for $60, and you can still buy it just fine, and the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible, so I bet it's going to remain on shelves for a while. It's actually cheaper than $60 too now. The Wii U also had Wind Waker, Mario Party, Twilight Princess, and that was the biggest problem with the Wii U. It was lacking in games. It had games, but they weren't good. Not to say that every game sucked, I just listed a bunch of good games, and I know there are way more. The problem was compared to the Wii, it was way, way weaker. I doubt there would have been games that appealed to me if I'd gotten a Wii U. Sure, I would have gotten to play some great games, but there's like 10. Let me tell you though, I bought Twilight Princess for the Wii, and it's my favorite Zelda now. No fancy Wii U remaster needed. Unless they release it on the Switch, where I will immediately buy it with no hesitation. My mom made a good financial choice when she chose a 3DS over a Wii U. The 3DS is a much stronger console and cheaper with a much stronger catalog of games. If I'm still using a console frequently, that's a great sign. I've been addicted to Tomodachi Life recently. If I had a Wii U, it'd likely be collecting dust in my drawer or only used for Wii games. Maybe I'm just looking for excuses. It did sell really poorly though, so I'm not actually. Didn't even break 14 million sales compared to 101 million from the Wii, the best console ever. Thanks for watching.